How's everybody feeling? Tora Con, day one, baby! You staying warm? Staying toasty? Trying? No. Oh my. Well, I guess we'll get things started here. Yeah. We're all voice actors up here. We all talk funny for a living. And my name is Landon McDonald. You might know me as the voice of Enmu from Demon Slayer. The Mugen Train arc. Spoilers, but he is the Mugen Train. His master told him to train hard, and he took that very literally. Let's see, who else do I play? I'm Rampo in Bungo Stray Dogs, which is a really cute show, or really cute at times, very dark at others. Yeah, but it's a really good one. I was thinking of the Chibi series, actually, the spin-off. Juan is cute. The show itself is kind of, dark and emotional at times. Let's see, who else am I? I'm Rohan in JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. I'm Noritoshi Kamo and Aso in JJK. And I'm the future devil in what's that show? Chainsaw Man, that's it, yeah. And you might have also heard me in Pokemon Masters as Charon and Flint. And in Digimon, my proudest moment. Oh my gosh, I play Trash. I play Garbage-Mon. Yes.
Total trash.
Yeah. If you're here for, or if you're back, if you saw our video game panel earlier, yes, I am reusing material, and I'm sorry.
He won. It was his first time ever playing Mario Party, and he won.
I won by sheer dumb luck.
Because of you.
Sheer dumb luck, yeah. But yeah, that's me in a nutshell.
Oh, that's a tough act to follow. My name is Adam Gibbs. You may know me as Sugawara from IQ. Stop. Which apparently I've recently discovered that fans of Suga is known as Suga Mama because he's the mama of the team.
Dude, even I knew this.
I mean, I've started signing it as Suga Mama, so that's not one. I'm a mama's boy, so it was fit. I'm also Shinichi from Parasite, Naruto Todoroki from My Hero. What a show, right? I signed that as the more attractive and charismatic Todoroki. But what else? And my favorite character from Life Lessons with Uramichi Onisan. I played Uramichi Onisan. And other fun things, Yeah.
Hello, I am Lizzie. Oh, sorry, we can clap.
You
clap louder. Molly's here, clap louder. All right, now about me. Hi, I'm Lizzie Freeman. I'm the voice of Trish Una from JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. Shucks, stop. Chizuru from Rent-A-Girlfriend, Chisato from Licorice Recoil, and most recently, Sparkle from Honkai Star Rail. And I see some Digital Circus cosplayers out there. I'm the voice of Pomni, aka in Digital Circus. Hello, I'm Anjali. Oh god, the IMDb. I voice Roy in Pokemon Horizons, which just came out on March 7th. I voice Yuki in Jujutsu Kaisen. I voice others, Dory in Genshin Impact, Sushang in Honkai Star Rail, Lemon and Mashal, and others as well.
Oh, yeah, I voice people. I'm Caleb. I'm Caleb Ian.
Voice is Caleb.
I do.
The official English voice of Caleb.
Truly. Both. I'm Caleb Yen, again. I voice Kalis, Master Trailblazer in Honkai Star Rail, Gaming in Genshin Impact, Karaku in Demon Slayer, and other stuff. Usually if a kid wears shorts in an anime, I probably voice him somewhere.
Hi, I was late, sorry. Thank you for forgiving me. I'm Molly Zhang, I voice Seela in Honkai Star Rail. This season I'm in Apothecary Diaries and Shangri-La Frontier. Show minor characters as Heaven Official's Blessing, and yeah, glad to be here. Hi everybody. Thank you for having me. You specifically.
So is this part where we be like, do you have some,
Cues
Gonna
for,
miss
so
one.
we can give you
hello.
some
Cues
A's.
for us,
You
yeah.
want him louder?
Good. So do you have Q's? We have A's.
Is this a mic down
Do we-
here for our cues?
Or do we do something
Two
else?
mics up here for Q&A. You have line or there's a wireless.
Cool. Do we pick
Okay.
who does the cues or does someone else?
So,
Okay.
Okay.
We'll point. You with the phone.
Hi. As someone that's great in the voice acting industry, what are some of your best experiences?
Should we list off the websites?
Alphabetical
All
order.
right. You should write this down.
Actually, yes.
You want to start listing them?
Sure. I want to be a voiceactor.com, classic.
It's really good. Well, this is right here now.
Voice Acting Club, lots of great resources, lots of great guides, and it was step by step what to do.
Go to the
Amazing.
bottom of the homepage. There's a whole bunch of links to articles.
Check out the Voice Acting Mastery podcast by Crispin Freeman, super helpful. And that I feel like is a starting point, and it has resources in it that lead to other like classes you can take, people to check out, whatever. It'll trickle down. So many things to check out there.
Those are super great concrete ideas. I have a couple that are a little more abstract. But what I tell people is, we are voice actors, and so people, because voice comes before actor, we think that, I can do a bunch of voices. I can be a voice actor. Well, that can be true, yes, but can you act? It's great that you can sound like Mickey Mouse and everyone else, but can you do it convincingly? Can you now do it faster? Now do it slower? Now do it a little happier? Now do it a little sadder? Now, there's all the different variations that come, and so when you have a foundation of acting to rely on, you're going to be 10 steps ahead. So I always say, take an acting class, take an improv class. A big part of what we do is what's basically called cold reading. We don't get these scripts ahead of time and sit and memorize them like you would in theater or even on camera. You show up to the studio, the script is in front of you, and you may or may not get a chance to preview it, depending upon the studio you're working at, and then you have to say it. And then you have to take a direction and be able to mold and change. And so if you can show up to your audition, once you get the audition, and you have those things in your toolkit, you're going to be way ahead of person B who didn't do those things. So that's my soapbox.
I would also like to recommend the website called castingcall.club. It's a website where they host a bunch of amateur fan projects. Sometimes there's paid stuff on there, so it's just a good place to get experience trying to self-direct and learn how to do auditions.
Yeah, and I would add that a lot of people when they're starting out, they start off doing impressions of, other famous anime characters or cartoon characters in general. That's all well and good. Most of us can probably do a passable Bugs Bunny or something in the standard What's Up Doc, but can you do Bugs reciting Shakespeare? Can you do the scene from Magnolia where Tom Cruise is having the deathbed confessional with his father as Bugs? You may not be called upon to do exactly that, but you have to be able to, graduate beyond just the stock dialogue that you know, for the character. And yeah, cold reading is also, as you said, very important to get familiar with that because, gosh, before COVID, we never got scripts in advance. And oftentimes, when like you and I are working at Crunchy, there'll be what are called simuldubs, which are only a week behind the Japanese. And then there's even something called a day and day, or a day and date? Yeah, day and date dub, where you're literally right there with the Japanese coming out around the same time. I'm working right now on a show called Metallic Rouge. That's the 25th anniversary show. It's a showcase for Studio Bones, and it's not based on anything. It's not a manga or anything, so there's no research I can do week to week. We're just flying by the seat of our pants. It's a really cool show. It's kind of like Blade Runner. I'd say check it out if you can. It's on Crunchy. But yeah, so that's what I would do. And also, even if you do get the opportunity to do a legacy voice, you're going to want to be able to bring some of yourself into it as well. And when it comes to different character archetypes, make sure that you're bringing kind of your own unique mix to it. Because oftentimes when a casting director is going through, auditions, a lot of the stuff does sound very samey. And somebody who's able to add that, little special sauce can make a big, big difference overall. So that'd be my advice.
And just going off of that, it's kind of already been said here, but you don't have to just do voice acting stuff for voice acting. I started with on camera and theater and stuff like that, and so kind of opening yourself up to all types of acting that might not necessarily be the type of acting you're most interested in, whether that means participating in, like I said, improv or theater or on camera or whatever. Because like with on camera, like you get used to seeing your own face and acting as yourself, which really helped me to kind of be able to branch into other things. So there was a grounded center before I was trying to be like, a little bit of myself would be in there as opposed to just being like, this is my, shy kid or this is my whatever. And then also just inhaling lots of different types of acting, whether it's watching plays or going to the movies or seeing stuff in like a different genre that you might not usually watch or something, just to kind of really be well-rounded and knowing the different types of stuff out there and how you can apply those to your own toolkit, kind of.
That's exactly it. Cast as wide a net as possible.
The last little thing I'd love to add, a lot of you may go watch, the original Japanese version, or you may be very much into subs or very much into dubs. But if you are hearing what you hear in English and trying to kind of replicate what I do as Adam Gibbs or whoever, I would encourage you to not do that. I would encourage you to listen to the Japanese and the original voices and try to kind of match their feeling and their emotion and their sound, because ultimately that's what we're doing. I mean, yes, we're bringing our own flavor to it, but we preview what the J does and we match more or less what the J does.
We try to honor that intent.
Yeah, that's our goal, is to honor it. So when you're practicing and working on your voices, and sure, listen to the English and I kind of sound like that guy, that girl, I can sound like them. Great. Well, now go listen to the Japanese, throw what I did away, and just listen to the Japanese and try to be you, but like that, if that makes sense.
And to offer a completely different perspective, it's not the best
Don't
place
do
to
that.
start.
Yeah.
Well, I don't recommend doing my route, but I think as long as accessibility is there, that's a really big important factor. I started with fan dubs. I don't have a theater or stage or acting background. I'm a weeb. And I went on castingcallclub.com and I found auditions on there, and what really helped me was listening to other people and how much better they were than I was. And then from there I did some fandoms, and then I went on Twitter and I found indie casting calls, and then I started taking classes. So I think there's many routes to get to your final destination. It's just a matter of where you're at in life, what can you afford to do, what is most accessible to you. Because I was already graduated from college, I didn't know where to go to do theater. Also, I'm pretty terrified of being on stage, so that was the route that worked for me, and you just have to curate to your own experience.
I started recording stuff on my little flip phone.
Me too!
I was just going to say, last little thing going off of that for accessibility, I think learning from other people is
Huge.
Such a good thing.
Use them.
And like, what's free is you can find community, you can find people who are interested in doing what you're interested in doing, who are also wanting to, voice act, and so, or just act. You can form little groups, you guys can run scenes together. Like, there are so many ways to get some practice. It doesn't take a lot. So classes,
Exactly.
but also just exposing, like YouTube is free, and there are so many great resources on YouTube. So
I think the importance is just like getting the practice in and exposing yourself to stuff, because what is that phrase? It's like, it takes 10,000 hours to master something or whatever. So as long as you're getting those hours somehow and like doing something, that's like the best thing that you can do.
I think if you have a foundation built on a love of the craft of acting, you're going to do well.
Yeah. Yeah, thank you for the question.
You see someone way back there.
with the hat.
So when you're doing a job, do you prefer the director to give you very specific instructions, or would you rather have them let you do whatever you want?
Depends. I think that sometimes, for me at least, sometimes it depends on like how much I understand the character and story. Sometimes I really, really want a lot of guidance because maybe it's like, you know, a world that I'm not familiar with, like a franchise I just don't know, and I need a little bit of hand-holding to make sure that like the experience that the viewers or the players or whoever are getting is, you know, accurate to what they should be. But sometimes also, I think it's like a give and take with your director, because you need to, they're like, you're in the room for a reason as opposed to someone else, some other actor. And so there's a part of you that you want to insert in this character, and that can really only happen with some level of creative freedom. So your director has to trust you a little bit. You have to trust them to guide you when you need that guidance. So.
Yeah, different directors always have different approaches. In some cases, you know, you might get like a like a 5-page screed about, what the world is, what the lore is, the deep lore. Others, though, just kind of tell you the emotional truth of the scene, and that's what you kind of need to point yourself towards. I of course want to know as much as I can about, I try to do research ahead of time, I do all that, but there are more things obviously that the director knows about and the client knows about, and so of course, you want to hear what they have to say. But with directing, though, usually also, most of the time, there are a few exceptions, but usually, though, your director is also going to be an actor themselves. And that is very helpful because, they kind of know what you're going through, they can appreciate it. And so you kind of have to, they're your partner. You want to walk arm in arm with them and the engineer and the producer if they're there. And together you're the team who's trying to, put out the best product humanly possible.
Creative collaboration, it's a wonderful thing.
Yes.
I was going to say, it's a collaborative process. And I personally like working closely with the director to make sure we get the best performance out possible. I like to be informed. I like us bouncing ideas off each other. I like it when the director's like, you know what, you just try and tweak it a little this way. And something really fun comes out that I wouldn't have thought of.
Yeah.
So.
What they said, that covered everything I said.
Awesome. Maybe next question then. Blue hair.
This kind of goes with earlier question about reading voice acting. What are some methods for sort of developing voices if you want to do like a performance and not just sound like yourself doing a silly voice, or if you just want to improve how you sound in that way?
I feel like when you're coming up with characters, you kind of have to do silly voice. Like there's an element of like just discovering what you can do, like what your range is, and like for me, I think a lot of it comes to character art because I think that inspires. Well, okay, I'm looking at this character. It's like this big, sturdy, like a rock-looking creature thing. That's going to inspire a very different voice than like a cute little girl. Like intuitively you start to like, as you go through it more and more and practice a lot, you'll sort of associate certain vocal qualities, and like when you see a certain image, it'll inspire, an idea of what you might come up with.
I think it's very beneficial to practice singing to an extent because that can teach you different placements of your voice. It'll help you learn your vocal range, essentially. And singing warm-ups are just good for voiceover in general, in my opinion.
I think that's something that really gets overlooked by a lot of junior actors is warming up. Before every session I ever do, I'll tell you what I do. I sit in my car and I go baby by boo, baby by boo, baby by boo, baby by boo, keiki kai kuku, keiki kai kuku, keiki kai kuku. I go through the whole alphabet with every consonant, with every vowel, so that my mouth is ready and warm to go. Because again, junior actors may record themselves practicing their lines, and you listen back and it's a little muddled. It's a little, it's not nice and crisp and clear. Of course, character can change those elements or whatever. But that's the note I get more than anything is, oh yeah, let's do that one again. Or we just let's take that one again and clean it up just a little bit. The line sounded fine, but it didn't sound like the character talking. It sounded like an actor trying to sound like the character, and that pulls the audience out of it immediately. So they want to clean those little things up. Again, kind of going back about taking class, diction and vocal quality, you can learn those things in speech classes. How to use your voice as a tool, because it is one of the tools that an actor has, and it's I think the most overlooked. So always looking into that kind of technical clarity aspect of it too helps.
And once you're familiar with your instrument, then that really helps with the auditioning process too, because you can see which characters are probably tailored to what you can do. And then because, I think sometimes when people are starting out, I certainly did this, my agent would send me, a whole bunch of auditions for one project, and I would read for almost every male character. And in hindsight, it's like, no, there are certain, there are certain characters that I know I'm more well suited for, and so, now I'm kind of more choosy,
I shouldn't be reading for the gruff military guy.
Exactly, yeah.
That's me.
So that's very important, yeah, to get familiar with your instrument, and that can, that can really help.
I want to add as well, so many people think that they need to be able to do a million voices when you don't. It really is about having solid acting. I had had something I want to say. If you listen to some of my character voices, they're really not that different from each other. It's subtle changes, speech patterns, how soft is the character voice, or like I just shift the pitch or something. You don't have to do crazy things with your voice to make a character.
Not to mention, I know so many people who have crazy ranges. Most of the things that they book are just their regular speaking voice.
That's me. Like, people come to us. I'll never forget one of my first conventions. A little kid was at my table and he's like, "What does that one sound like?" And so I kind of do the line. He's like, "What does that one sound like?" I'm like, "Well, this." "What does that one sound like?" I'm like, "Well, this." He's like, "They all sound the same." He's like, "What about that one?" He's like, "That just sounds like you." I'm like, "Well, it is me, I would love to play crazy, wacky villains and all those things too, but I don't get cast as that as much. I mean, sure, can I do it? Yeah. Would I love to do it? Yeah, but somebody has to be the sweet, thoughtful boy who is working through high school drama or whatever.
I had something to say. Oh, yeah. That was where, as we said before, like, it's not super helpful to go and try and copy someone's performance verbatim and make the same choices as them, but doing, like, a bad interpretation of a character, what's that word? A bad impression. A bad impression of a character, like, where you're not, like, trying to match that person's life or whatever, it can lead to a lot of different character voices that you can do. So it's like, trying to be Kim Kardashian or something, be like, oh my god, I can talk like this, and then be like, this could be a character, it's not Kim Kardashian, for sure as heck. But it can be some other interesting thing you might be able to do.
Or even a fun version of that is combos or crosses of different characters.
Yes.
Can really push that even further.
Totally.
Oh, it's
Kardashian and like SpongeBob, I don't know.
Yeah. There's like a nanny.
Yeah, it's worth noting that, like with The Simpsons, some of those character voices are admittedly bad celebrity impressions. Mo the bartender was meant to be young Al Pacino. Chief Wiggum is an old character actor named Edward G. Robinson. That's an impression. It's Hank Azaria doing his best Edward G. Robinson. So those bad celebrity impressions can be reinterpreted and kind of recycled into original character voices.
And a lot of me figuring out what different voices I can do comes from just having fun in auditions and just playing around too.
Yeah. The CD can tell when you're having fun.
Yeah.
Someone else died.
Yes, sir.
Is there any performance whether a voiceover performance or anything or a line that someone has done or you've seen that has like left an impression on you, like something that my son seen like a couple of years ago or a while ago, and that's just something that just sticks in your mind. Has there been anything like that?
Has anybody ever played Final Fantasy 14? No one? Oh, darn.
Wow.
Oh, there's one.
Okay, well, there's a character named Emmett Sulk. Are you that far? Yeah. Okay, I didn't want to spoil, but his final scene in front of the gates of Malmarat, that was my favorite voice acted scene of the last, I can't remember much of my life, the last 5 years. I want to say that's my favorite scene ever. He's got the very British Shakespeare performance that I usually don't get into because I'm a weeb, but he did a really good job with that one.
I was gonna say, growing up, the shows that I loved were like Batman the Animated Series, Justice League. I loved those shows so much. And there's this one scene that Kevin Conroy, who was just so incredible, did in, I think it was Batman Mask of the Phantasm, where he's at his parents' grave and he's found what he thinks is like the love of his life, and he's asking his parents to forgive him for being happy. How could he like forget this tragedy that happened and go on to be happy? And his performance in that scene like makes me cry every time. It is so special and incredible and left such a mark on me.
Has anyone seen Orphan Black? Anyone? I thought I could have nothing you. Anyway, in this show, Tatiana Maslany plays like 7 different people with completely different mannerisms, accents, voices, everything, and it's just like, how do you do this? Like, I would be watching this show where she plays all these different characters, be like, oh, this character didn't show up for a long time, the actor must have been on, like, maternity leave. No, they're all you. And that happened to me, like, at least a million
And
times
then
during
she
the show.
plays characters that disguise themselves as the other versions
And
of
you
herself.
can tell,
Oh my
it's
gosh.
crazy. I don't know what it's streaming on right now, but it's also just a really good show in general. So.
Okay, this one might sound a little silly. I'm more inspired just because the acting is so good, but how many 90s kids do we have in here? Okay, Dexter's Laboratory. Jeff Bennett as Dexter's dad is some of the greatest cartoon voiceover I've ever heard in my life. Like the episode where the kids drink all the coffee and he finds out the coffee's gone. He's like, you two drink the coffee? This empty! And I'm just like, I want to be as good as Jeff Bennett. His comedic timing, it's just peak. I don't know. I need to study his acting. He's fantastic.
For me, I'm such a technician, and so I really think about the technique of how a voice actor is making that sound. And honestly, the Dragon Ball guys, some of the My Hero guys, like all of that stuff, like, oh my god, how do you do that and still have a voice?
They're like death metal vocalists.
Yeah, right. And you know, I think it was like on Conan one night or something, but they had a voice coach who was like the voice coach to all of the like screamer bands. And she was like, oh yeah, they can do it forever because they're not actually really full on screaming like that. There's a certain technique, and you know, she did it, and it blows your mind. I don't know if that's what the voice actor cast are doing or not. It sounds like you could like hear the blood dripping from their cords. But that's what sticks out to me, honestly. Just when you hear feats of sound that you just can't compute how they're doing it.
Yeah. Well, like you, Batman the Animated Series was a big, touchstone, absolutely. You know, Mark Hamill, oft imitated, never duplicated. Phenomenal stuff, especially in the movie. That's the best Joker laugh I've ever heard, is in that movie at the end where the World's Fair is burning down. Amazing. Let's see, I would also say, I mentioned The Simpsons earlier, that as a kid, I watched Inside the Actors Studio, and it was the cast of The Simpsons, and I figured, it's going to be a whole town of voice actors. It's 5 people, 6 people at the most, and they all do dozens of voices. And that just blew my mind as a kid. Especially, there's a guy named Phil Hartman who was on SNL for a long time, and he's the voice of Lionel Hutz, the oily lawyer, and he's also the B-movie actor, Troy McClure. You know, his delivery, his comic delivery is about as good as it gets, I think. Phil Hartman's was a genius. Anime-wise, I would say there's a guy named Brian Massey who was in a show called Baccano, and he played a gangster, bloodthirsty gangster named Lad Russo, and that might be my favorite performance in anime. He is so darn good because he's somebody who obviously just, the character he's not just your stock gangster villain. He is a sadist, but he's also kind of in love with the whole idea of, gearing up to do violence, and it's a very disturbing but very wonderful performance, just ingeniously realized. If you haven't seen Baccano, seek it out. I'm not sure if it's streaming anywhere legally, but if you can find the old DVD set, go for it. It's only 16 episodes, but it's phenomenal, and he's the best part of it.
Yeah, all right. What do we got? I see you up there. Yeah.
What is your favorite character? What is your favorite character that you've done so far?
Yeah, I shouted it out in my intro, but and I've said it to every person that will come to my table. I tell everyone, Life Lessons with Uramichi Onisan, and it's such a great show. So good. Super, super funny, super, super deep. For those of you who don't know, it's a children's TV show, and but it's led by a guy, Uramichi Onisan, who is suffering from depression. And it's like it's easy to laugh at that, but it's also super relatable. And what I learned in working on that show and meeting with fans, every single fan that I talk to that loves that show, they're like, man, I really felt the depression stuff, and it really hit me deep. And I'm like, dude, me too. Same with the director, same with the engineer. Like, we recorded that during COVID from my house, and like, we all had to take breaks because like, it hit us. And like, my soapbox about that is like, at least for myself, when I feel depressed, I feel alone. And I find that others feel that way as well. And we think about depression as this big capital D thing, and you have it or you don't. No, man, we all get depressed. We all work through things, and we feel so isolated and alone. But like, we're feeling those feelings all at the same time. Like we are together, in our solitude. So if you haven't seen it, laugh your head off, cry your eyes out. Life lessons with the teacher. I mean, yeah, I guess, yeah.
I'm sorry for anyone who's been to panels where I've answered this before, but I have two. I'd say my favorite anime character I play is Chisato. I strive to be like her. Chisato from Licorice Recoil, I should specify. I strive to be like her because she's just a cinnamon roll and a good, pure person. But in actuality, I have my second favorite character I do the voice for, which is Pomni from Digital Circus. I'm anxious, nervous mess.
I would say probably Rampo from Bungo Stray Dogs, especially during season 4, when we get to explore his origin story. I felt really privileged to get to tell that story, especially because my scene partner for most of that is Jameson, who plays Fukuzawa, Rampo's kind of father figure, who in the origin story, adopts him and kind of teaches him to kind of harness his deductive powers, which at that point are kind of overwhelming him. And Jameson, we've worked together for going on to 5, almost 6 years now, and he never ceases to amaze me with just how incredible he is. He's been in Bleach, he's been in everything over the years, but he is just a master of the craft. And I think he does some of his very best work in season 4. Especially there's a scene where Rampo, in order to, he loves to show off his deductive powers, but he's put himself in jeopardy to do so. And Fukuzawa gets very angry at him and slaps him and says, "There was a gun pointed right at your face." And when he says that, his voice breaks, and Jameson's got this great, baritone voice, but it breaks when he says it. And when I heard that, it was already in when I was recording. I didn't have to act in that moment. I started crying. When he goes, I'm sorry, again and again and again. In that moment, it was so real to me because of what Jameson had created for me. So I will always be grateful to him for that. Absolutely.
My favorite role is less about the voice acting, unfortunately, but does anyone know Heaven Official's Blessing? Oh, okay, cool. I'm a very minor character in that game, but my best friend voices Shillian, and I voice the baby form of Shillian. And it's BL, so there's not many female characters or feminine speaking voices, so to just be part of a franchise that I really like is a big deal to me. So it's not the biggest role, but it's just something fun I share with a good friend of mine, and I really like the novels.
For me, it's probably Gaming in Genshin Impact, because he's just a lot like me. He eats dim sum a lot. He has issues with his dad. He gets to work through, which is really cathartic because he's a really funny character to me because all of his gameplay stuff is oh, let's do this. This is super fun. Blah blah blah. And all his story stuff is my dad. And I'm I feel you, dude. And just getting to go on that journey with him and to see him work out his issues with his dad, which doesn't always happen in real life, was just kind of just really fun and cathartic, and yeah, he's great.
My favorite role that I have played is Kiriko in the show called Heavenly Delusion, which I think everyone should watch. Go watch it. This character was just unlike any character I've ever played. I went through turmoil and trauma for this character every episode. It was a lot, but I also feel like I learned more about myself as an actor and got to grow with this character in a short period of time. And so they're very special to me. And that's why I will always be on my soapbox saying people should go watch it.
Your turn. Oh, let's go up there. Let's see. I can't quite see what color your wig is, but in the wig. Yes. Is that blue? It's blue. Yeah. Sorry, there's a light right now.
It's actually indigo.
Indigo. Better yet.
So when you guys are given the scripts, does it specifically say what emotion they want, or is it just vague and you have to guesstimate what tone they want you to use?
Depends.
Yep.
We'll have a director to help us with that. Usually, the script is usually just the dialogue. So that's why it's so important to have the director and get direction, because they'll know the story and be able to guide us.
I feel like the closest technical direction we get like that on paper are the reactions. You know, like, there's a code in our scripts, OM, CM, open mouth, closed mouth. So I'm going, you know, if it's OM gas.
They are very descriptive sometimes
They're very
with those reactions.
They're as descriptive as Netflix subtitles.
Like, sometimes it'll say, angry grumbling teacher reacts or something like, they'll like put description to it and like, oh, someone was having fun writing this script.
I got one recently where it was Icy Vengeance Exhale. For an episode of The Witch and the Beast, yeah.
What was it, the 7-page AUTA? I think the script, like, it wasn't 7 pages on the script, but it says for Bill Butt's character, he was like, continues to be AUTA, continue to be AUTA defect, reacts.
I've had a it's morbid time open mouth, and I didn't know what that meant, so I don't know. Sometimes they're really.
See, I heard Power Rangers, it's morphin' time. Yeah. It's
No,
Morbid
it's
time.
Morbid. What is that from again?
Morbius.
That's Morbius, or the memes around Morbius.
Who saw Morbius? Yeah, that's what I thought.
But
Who saw Madam Web?
saw the meme.
I'll say sometimes for like some video game scripts you'll get a lot of intention written in, but that's because you'll have so many lines with no context where it's like, yes, okay, whatever. So then they'll write stuff like, you know, affirmative or like kindly says or whatever, so you quickly get through your 100 cues in an hour, whatever it is you're looking for.
I think this is actually a more relevant question when it comes to like auditions, when you don't have a director in the room and you kind of have to figure it out on your own. Because sometimes, you know, they're super descriptive about the character, about the scene that you're reading for, whatever. Sometimes, nothing. You just have lines and you just have to come up with something. And then you get inventive and creative.
I ate a bagel. That's the line. Okay.
It's so important in those situations to look at the script and think, okay, what is happening here? And you have to make that decision because no one's going to tell you. So.
And they can hear it when you haven't made a decision. And you're just kind of saying words out into the void.
And again, like we do typically get a preview of what you're about to say, so you hear the Japanese actor say the line. So while I don't speak Japanese, I can definitely tell if he's happy or sad or screaming or yelling or sad or whatever. You know, so it's like I feel like we get more informative like information from just hearing the original actors, at least for me.
Yeah, and with anime, usually you can also in the script see what people are saying around your character, you know, or what you're replying to. That's helpful, of course. With video games, though, sometimes you just get a huge block of, you know, just nothing but your lines.
Lines.
Yeah, and if the director's good, they'll help you, you know, find the
Sometimes
context.
the director might not even have
They may not know.
the other
Yeah.
lines.
I just have to ask a question.
Yeah,
How far away am I from this character? That's a...
Yeah.
yeah. So it's not like a super intimate moment, you're just screaming.
I love you too.
Sometimes those questions get lost in translation, and that's why you get video game scenes that people put on YouTube, where people are like screaming and they're right next to each other.
My favorite one was once where somebody was like, no, you can't go, and then it pans 4 screens to the left where they are. It's like, wow, you didn't get that across.
You.
Oh, sorry, I'm making you run a really long way. Maybe
Oh,
we should have gone
sorry.
along.
I didn't just toss it.
Get those steps.
That's right. That's right.
Steps.
99, 100.
So, okay. What are some of the most fun or what are some of the most fun roles or lines you guys have had?
A good one. Wait, do you want to
So,
start?
I was moving my head.
Okay, so JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Part 5, the body swap stuff was a lot of fun. Where Trish and Mista switch places, and that was extra fun because it was during the pandemic. So I had to record it from home in my walk-in closet with my boyfriend asleep in the bed right in the room next to me, saying all those out of context lines as a how old is Mista? Like 20? A 20-year-old guy trapped in a 15-year-old girl's body and reacting the way you think that would play out. So, you know, he's just on the other side of the room hearing me say all of those lines out of context. Which I will not repeat in here because I'm sure there's a lot of minors in this room.
My favorite is when we get bits. It's like, so if you're in for a session and you're playing some role on some show, the director may be working on something else, and hey, do you mind if I use you for a couple lines here and there? So you get sprinkled in as a one-line character. Those, a lot of times, are my most favorite, because it's a one-off. You get to see some wacky guy run in and scream something and run off. My favorite, I did this only like 3 or 4 weeks ago, but the title's not out yet or whatever, but I happened to play a little beaver who was freaking out when someone came to town. So, I just got to, oh my God! And so like, I never get to do that voice in my normal work. So anytime I get to do something that's like so counter to my normal voice, there's nothing more fun.
That inspired in me. I completely agree. I feel like random bits where it's just like you have no idea what they're gonna throw at you. Those end up being the craziest. I truly don't remember what this was in. But at one point, I think I voiced a drunk pig.
Yes.
And it was a pig. It wasn't like a big pig human character. It was a pig that like, got drunk, and it was crazy. That was a fun moment.
Did the pig speak?
No, the pig did not speak. That's the best part. It was just the pig.
Do it.
Look.
Okay, no.
Look. Oh my God.
No, I think mine is also a bit, and I can't remember the show, but it's a little boy at an amusement parks, I think, where all he says is, "Mom, I gotta poop." and then Jay, because we always preview the Japanese first, it's just in the background, you can't really hear him, but then I heard it in English, and it was very clearly, "Mom, I have to poop."
They were like, bring it up in the mix.
Yeah.
Why? That needs to be front and center.
Go ahead.
Oh gosh, I guess it was probably bits are so much fun. Some people after a while they stop doing mala and stuff or bits and bobs. I think that's a mistake because some of the most fun you can have at work, frankly, is doing that stuff. For me though, it would probably be on Mugen Train, which by the way, we also had to record from home during the pandemic, so I had to turn my closet into a studio, a little mini studio. But gosh, it was. I always say that I might be the reason that movie's rated R. Some of the weird noises in movie makes. But Lucian Dodge, though, took a line that was already pretty out there in the Japanese and adapted it in a very beautiful way. Lucian Dodge also plays Akaza, the other demon who's in that movie, the basketball-faced guy. But anyway, his actor wrote me a wonderful little bit of dialogue for it that's, very special. Would you like to hear it?
Yes.
Okay. And this is after Enmu was turned into the train. Spoilers.
I can feel you scurrying around inside of me like a loathsome parasite.
So thank you for that, Lucian. I've had to write that on so many things over the years. Thank you.
Going off of drunk stuff. Has anybody played Triangle Strategy? Anybody? No? That's
Me.
Oh, that's good. I played Juganis Frost in that.
I know.
I'm super drunk in that scene.
I said congrats when you got it.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. Anyway, he's just this guy who's like really bitter about his life, and like before the scene, he's just like, "Good to see you. Yes, of course, whatever." And in this scene, he's just like, "Everyone is doing this, and my cousin gets the attention, and blah blah blah, the mines." It's like, okay. And then my other favorite one is a bit. It's the hero is overly cautious. He obliterates the slime, and I'm the slime. And I just go like for like 4 or 5 cues where it just gets progressively more like destroyed. And that was a line where I went in for like a Wallace session, and like sometimes in Wallace sessions I'll do the bits separately, and like they're assigning them to people as you go. And they're like, who wants to go next? I'm like, I don't want to go next. I want to be the slime. I want to be the slime. I want to be the slime. And guys, I got to be the slime. That's right. That's right. Tenacity, or I guess lack of doing any acid.